I curse you to your grave. Your women shall be made widows, and your children fatherless. The mine shall fail until justice is done. This is how the curse of Magpie Mine is remembered. In 1833, 3 men died beneath this hillside. 24 men stood for trial, and all of them walked free. Hello everyone, today I am in Derbyshire and I am visiting Magpie Mine. Nobody agrees on exactly when it closed. There's no single record because nobody was keeping one by the end. Somewhere between 100 and 125 years of failure, and depending on who you ask, there's a reason why this mine failed. This is my playground today. I got a place all to myself. The main shaft here goes back to the 1820s, but it's possibly older. And it has seen everything that happened here. Lead mining in the Peak District is as old as the Romans. So, by the time Magpie Mine began serious operation around 1740, this landscape already had its own folklore. There was Toadman, the old man of Derbyshire mining folklore. Together, the Mining Museum described him as an old underground presence, often imagined with a grey beard and black eyes. It was likely to be a warning, like a memory of everyone that lost their lives down there. But the Toadman wasn't the only thing miners believed was down there. And again, according to the folklore, if you heard whistling underground, that was a bad sign. But he wasn't the only thing people believed could be out there. There were black dog legends too, similar to Black Shuck, a spectral black dog usually seen as a warning, an omen, or something you really did not want to meet on a lonely path. And then there were boggarts, close to goblins or hobgoblins, part of the fairy folk world, mischievous, unsettling, sometimes blamed for noises, tricks, and shadows. This, the Toadman, the boggart, was already part of mining culture before Magpie Mine even existed. Magpie Mine began serious operation around 1740. And from almost the beginning, it was in dispute. Because running directly beneath this hillside, parallel to the Magpie seam, there was another mine, the Red Soil Mine. They had different owners, different workers, but the same ore, the Great Red Soil Vein. There were boundaries, legal ones, but nobody respected them. Because underground, there is no such thing as boundary, is there? There was an underground boundary war. There were physical fights in the pitch dark tunnels. Workers from both mines would break through each other's passages until one day in 1833, Magpie miners lit up fires underground in the connecting passages to smoke out the rivals. 3 men died underground that day: Thomas Wager, Isaac Bagshaw, and Francis Taylor, suffocated in the dark. According to court records, the shaft had already closed hours before the men went down. The men lighting the fires didn't know the vents downstream had been sealed off. They thought they were smoking the red soil miners, same as always, but they didn't know there was nowhere for the smoke to go. Murder and manslaughter charges were brought, and then 24 separate acquittals, down to technicality. And to this day, they say that the jury might have been bribed or intimidated or both, but no one could ever prove exactly who'd done what. All we know is that 3 women became widowed and no one was punished. The men who lit the fire went home to their families, to their wages, and the next day they went down the mine again. Nothing happened to them, nothing at all. Now, according to local tradition, the widows of the red soil miners went to the surface of the mine in front of witnesses and they cursed it. Now, some versions say that this happened after the trial. Some versions say that it was spoken aloud here after the verdict. Whether the words were written down, I don't know, but the story survived. I curse you to your grave. Your women shall be widows, and your children fatherless. The mine shall fail until justice is done. 2 years after the acquittals, so it's 1835, the mine stopped. It couldn't sustain itself. The financial fallout from the trial, the disputes, the whole sorry business just grounded it to a halt. But lead was valuable, very valuable, so they tried again. And around 1839, they brought in John Taylor. No, not the Duran Duran one. This John Taylor was one of the most respected mining engineers in Victorian England. He had turned failing mines into fortunes across the country. And when he arrived at Magpie, he introduced new equipment, new working methods, and a Cornish pumping engine, the most powerful that was available at the time. I saw 2 Cornish mines in Australia. They're not very different from this one, are they? Now, do you know why they needed pumping engines? The flooding, the constant, relentless flooding. The shafts were drowning themselves faster than they could be drained. Even John Taylor, with the best equipment he could buy, could not make this mine work. And the ownership changed hands again and again, 5 times in total. Every new investor arrived with fresh capital and left with nothing. Every revival was failure within years. And the bitter part is this, that every neighboring mine was eventually incorporated into the wider Magpie operation. The Peak District Mine Historical Society gives the final closure of Magpie Mine as 1954. But some sources say 1958. If it was 1954, that makes it 121 years after the curse was spoken. Now, water was a nightmare here. The rock formation here was prone to underground flooding. Lead prices collapsed in the late 19th century. Most mines across the Peak District either struggled or collapsed during that period. And here, well, legal disputes cost money, flooding kept coming back, and the lead trade itself wasn't stable. Hello? John Taylor's pumping engines were not necessarily fighting a curse. They were fighting water, money, and a difficult mine. This is so eerie. Magpie Mine is a scheduled ancient monument now, which means this is it. The engine house, the chimneys, the capstan house, preserved but not polished. Some parts have been restored, but it still feels like a ruin. Slowly becoming part of the hillside. What we're looking at is 121 years of failure in the stone. Iron, silence. This place outlasted every engineer who tried to fix it, every investor who believed in it, everyone who sank the savings into it and walked away with nothing. So, did the dead linger at Magpie? Well, there have been reports here, of course. A figure near the engine house, described as a woman in Victorian dress. She's silent, she's watching, and then she's gone. And a man carrying a light is seen for a moment near the old shaft and then is not there. Ooh. How I feel about this? It's eerily quiet. All you can hear is the buzzing of the flies. I can say that I'm feeling completely okay around here. It feels strange. There's noise coming here. Could be the tin and the wind. I'm sure there is a good reason for this, but it feels like something or someone is stepping inside. It's got to be the tin and the air that was under here. Any shadow I see inside this mine, but still. I was admiring the countryside around it. Said that the poor miners that were working here probably did not get to admire the beauty of the countryside. It would have been buzzing, noisy, lots of clanking, screaming and shouting. And now it's dead quiet. I brought a K2 meter with me today. Nothing. There's also a spot near the horse gin that felt off before I knew anything about it. It was just unsettling. I didn't find out until later that it sits close to the shaft where Wager, Bagshaw and Taylor actually went down that night. Hello? It is on the location where the Magpie Mine used to be. Is that the memory of 3 men who died underground? Grief never really resolved? Is it just a very old, very exposed, very quiet place on a Derbyshire hillside? And my imagination is in the rest? Probably. I think you don't have to believe in ghosts to feel that a place remembers. What do you think? I'm a bit sunburned today. Well, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give us a thumb up. And I shall see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.